Katie, Orbie, and Satya had a wonderful day. Orbie tried to do a magic trick, and it worked. Katie told a story so well that Orbie and Satya both clapped at the end of it, and Satya invited Katie to sleep over. Satya told Orbie that she would love to have him too, but there was only one other bed. Orbie wanted to tell her that he sleeps in the closet, but decided that might be rude. Katie went up to pack her overnight bag. Mom told Katie that all she needed was a toothbrush, pajamas, underwear, shorts, a top, and socks. And Katie had trouble remembering it all. Orbie helped. Orbie felt a little sad that Katie was leaving, but he didn't say anything because she was so excited. Mom checked the bag. Katie and Orbie had done an excellent job. Dad and Mom gave Katie a kiss goodbye. Orbie smiled and gave her a big hug, but his smile disappeared as Katie bounced down the front steps. As a matter of fact, his heart bounced into his stomach. Mom put her arm around him and told him that she had made his most favorite dinner, Orbos. Orbos were mini hamburgers with spinach and melted cheese on top. Orbie felt a bit better, but he knew that half the fun of eating Orbos just bounced down the front steps without him. Satya met Katie at the door and told her all the things they could do. Katie barely had time to put her bag down. The first thing they did was a great big floor puzzle of an elephant. The next thing they did was draw pictures on Satya's magic board, and then they dressed up as moms. Satya showed Katie the sari moms wear in India. Katie thought they were beautiful. She was having a ball. Orbie sat by the window watching the street. If Katie and Satya came out to play, he would go out and play with them. But they never did come out. Orbie went upstairs and walked around Katie's room a few times, then checked the window again. Still no sign of them. Orbie felt a little lonely. At Satya's, they were just sitting down to dinner. The dinner smelled strange to Katie, but Satya said that this was her favorite dish and that Katie would love it. Satya's mom put a lot on Katie's plate, and Katie looked at it. She thought of the yummy Orbos Mom was making and thought of Orbie eating them with glee. And actually, Orbie was feeling a bit better and munching up the Orbos very quickly. He and Dad had an Orbo piling contest. Orbie piled 2 and Dad piled 3. Mom said that food wasn't really for playing with, and Dad made a sort of oops sound, and they ate nicely after that. At the first bite, Katie knew she was in trouble. Although the food didn't feel hot to touch, it felt very, very, very hot on her tongue. Katie grabbed her glass of water while Satya giggled. "I guess we like our food spicier than you do, Katie." Katie tried blowing on the food a bit, but it didn't help. It was still hot in her mouth. Satya's mother told Katie that she didn't put very much spice in, and she hoped it was all right. Katie smiled and was very polite. She ate as much as she could, but finally stopped when her mouth got too hot. Satya's dad told Katie that in India, they love to have very hot, spicy food. Katie couldn't believe that there could be hotter and spicier than that. When they were finished, Katie, Satya, and her dad played hide and seek. They could hide anywhere in the whole house. It was terrific fun, and soon Katie forgot the hot feeling in her mouth and laughed away. Orbie read the same book, Katie's favorite, 4 times. And he tried watching TV, and then he asked Mom if he could go to bed. Mom was a little surprised, but she agreed. When Orbie kissed Dad goodnight, Dad asked if Orbie was lonely without Katie. Orbie let a little tear trickle down his face. Dad hugged him and told him that it was important for both of them to find things to do that were fun when they were apart. Orbie had an idea. He would draw a wonderful picture of the starry night sky and put it on the wall. Mom helped him pin it up. Then it was time for bed. Although Orbie looked over at Katie's bed a few times, Orbie was soon fast asleep. Satya's mother read the girls a story and tucked them into bed. Katie did think about Orbie, but only until Satya asked if Katie was afraid of the dark. Katie said no. Satya told Katie that she wasn't either, and she clicked off the light. Satya whispered, "I'm so happy you are sleeping over, Katie." And Katie responded, "So am I." Sleepy eyes began to close. They began to close, that is, until Katie noticed a tall, shadowy thing in the corner. "Satya," she said. Satya sat up. "What is that tall, shadowy thing in the corner?" "That's my dresser," said Satya. Katie felt a little bit silly, but happier with that, and they both started to drift off to sleep again. "Satya," Katie said, feeling little icy fingers on her back, "what's that thing at the end of your bed?" Satya sat up and reached down for her clown doll. "It's Wiggly," Satya said, and she cuddled him. Katie felt better, and they both started to drift off to sleep when Katie heard an eerie tap, tap, tapping on the window. Katie was afraid to look, and she asked Satya what it was. This time Satya told her it was the tree branch touching the window. Katie rolled over and looked at Satya. "Maybe I am afraid of the dark, Satya. Could we turn on a light, please?" Satya sat up in bed again. She walked to the door of her room and opened it a crack. She told Katie that there wasn't anything scary in her room and that she should just go to sleep. Now, I have to tell you that Katie knew this. She knew that Satya's room was full of wonderful toys and things just like hers, but somehow when she was sleeping there, she didn't feel quite as comfy as she did in her own bed. It did take a while, but finally Katie fell asleep. The next day when Katie came home, she felt very tired and told her mom she wanted to sleep in her own bed for a while. Orbie heard her voice and came running down the stairs. He almost knocked Katie over with his big hug. He made "I miss you" noises, and Katie told him that she missed him too. Orbie wanted to know all about what Satya and Katie did. Katie took one sleepy step up the stairs after another, dragging her overnight bag. Orbie thought she looked very sad. Orbie gurgled, "Didn't you have fun?" Katie turned to Orbie. "I had so much fun, Orbie. We did puzzles and dressed up and played hide and seek, but you know what?" Orbie raised his eyebrows in response. Katie went on, "I loved it all, but most of all it made me realize that I miss you and my nice bed with nothing spooky in the room. And all I want to do is go there and sleep." Orbie lifted up the overnight bag and carried it the rest of the way for Katie. Katie got to the room first, and I know she would have thanked Orbie for his help. And I know she would have told Orbie how beautiful his picture was. But by the time he got there, she was sound asleep on the bed.
Did you know? Did you know? Did you know peanut butter is very good for you? It's made from squished up peanuts. And it goes great with jam and bananas and even asparagus. But don't feed it to a frog.